Hello and good evening, good afternoon, or even good morning, depending where you are watching us from. We are live here at Imola for this fantastic event. We have got Europe versus the Americas racing 2 hours round Imola, all to raise money and awareness for a fantastic charity, Fertility Network UK. And we'll get a bit more onto that in a second, as we're just beginning to watch now the first part of the qualifying session. These are the first competitive laps these drivers are putting out on the track around this legendary circuit. As we watch Clegg, they're just losing the rear on the entrance to Toza, the number 20 Audi, just letting his Team Europe teammates through, almost colliding with his teammate there. Bit of a rough start there for Clegg. We will jump on to the number 8 car just now of Craig, who will be, I think, the first driver to set a competitive time as they come on board through Variante Beta there. Over the crest of the hill, the slight right kink, and then suddenly sharp on the brakes. Gets the apex nicely, doesn't run too far wide, the car is still stable, doesn't hit the sausage curbs on the inside. Gets a reasonable exit, will take the closest line to the wall to minimise the distance travelled to the start finish line. As we come across the line now, it puts in a 1:45.7 as the benchmark for them all to hit, and Hall immediately goes faster as well, also in the Porsche. I mean, these times are now going to fall thick and fast as Team Europe gets 4 times on the board already. It's the first sort of a Team America's car as it comes through now. I think a lot of these times may have just been invalid slightly. So as it starts, we've got Chavez in the McLaren, the number 9 car, with a 1:43.4. Chris Clements in the 22 BMW, 3/10 down for Team Europe in his shorty. And we've just got Vallejo going into P2. Great lap there from the Porsche driver, the number 5 car. Do seem to have a yellow flag. I think that's maybe just someone sitting in the pit lane. Yep, that's what that is. No major concerns there. So the Hugh's not went out yet. Let's see, we've got Godin, Ben Godin in the Ferrari, the number 2 Ferrari, one of the new cars being released into Assetto Corsa Competizione this year. So we'll just go follow the Ferrari driver around this lap, see how they get on. A great line, we're under a lot of control there, we're around one of the hardest corners on this course. Expect to get some great shots this evening from the Helicam as we watch Gordon ride those curbs superbly, using all the track available. One of his teammates just lets him go there. Nick hits up the apex nicely. Just misses the apex for the final corner. That might hamper their exit onto the start finish straight, as we see them again taking the closest line possible to the wall and across the line, and Godin goes up into P3. It's a good lap. Good lap from Ben Godin. Lopez now coming to cross the line, doesn't improve on this time. Now let's watch Frankhouse in the AMG Mercedes, the number 7 car. over the crest. Now the front looking a little bit skittish. A lot of flames bursting out of the side of that Mercedes engine. Car looks very stable round the final corner, uses the whole track and a little bit more. Coming up to cross the line now. Great lap, up into 4th position. 2/3 of a second off the lead, but still a good lap. Number 9's travelling very slowly. I think maybe just preparing their car as Clements goes first for Team Europe. Clements sets a new provisional pole time, 1:42.3. Chavez now coming forward to just start a new lap, I think. Yep. Couple of cars in behind going round there. Got Komu for Team Americas in the 31. That's one of the older Ferraris. Not seen one of them in a while. Doesn't improve this time around. Fagan has went up there into 5th in the Lamborghini. It's a good time from them. Let's see, car number 34 is just coming to finish a lap. That's Dalton for Team Europe. Also in that Lamborghini. Looks a little bit jumpy there. That Lamborghini is maybe running a little bit firm. Coming to cross over the line now. Doesn't improve. Nope, no improvement there this time. Let's come aboard now, Chavez, who he looks to challenge for this provisional pole time. Smashes over that first curve, runs over the second, getting as good an exit as possible. Carving their way through the forest, up through the gears. Needs to pick the braking spot. Hard on those brakes, gets it done, slowed down nicely, makes the apex. Little bit wide on the second apex and loses the rear. That's going to cost them. That will cost Chavez the opportunity for pole, I think. And crosses the line and does not improve again. So a bit of work still to be found there. Hello Daniel, thanks for joining us on the chat. Who's favourite for this evening? That is a great question. I'd be expecting to see pretty much everyone in that top 8 just now challenge for this victory. There's 2 Team Europe cars there getting in each other's way through Variante Alta. So that's Tamburello, that's a Tamburello chicane. Corners 1, 2 and 3. Favourites I think for Team Europe has got to be Godin, Ben Godin, Chris Clements and Dan Clegg. Probably the 3 favourites there. As the Team Europe car gets out of the way of the Americas car. Very good sportsmanship. And I think that's going to be Cedric. No, not porting to the pit lane. A lot of marbles they were on the side of the track already, and it's only qualifying. We've got some yellow flags out on track. That was car number 27. Benders ported themselves back to the pit lane. A couple of cars now going back to the pit lane, very likely for some fresh tyres. Just to get a bit of opportunity there to get pole position. For Team Americas, I think the favourites are going to be looking at Chavez there in the McLaren. We're going to have Frankhouse at Team Americas as well. White is very good. And then, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure who we can expect to see for the Team Americas coming forward to challenge. But we'll just watch Schrotty there just finish off this lap in that Porsche. Looks a very, very high on the second curb coming out of the chicane there. Yep, go Europe. So what I'll do just now is just before we wind up to the final stages of qualifying, what I'm going to try and do is find a link for what we're looking to do here this evening. We are here obviously to raise awareness and funds for a fantastic charity. This is all being done for charity, for Fertility Network UK, who do offer to try and help 3.5 million people in Great Britain with fertility issues, try and help them through that. They do some fantastic work, and what I'm going to do is try and find a link to post to the chat where if you feel you want to help support, you can visit this link and give whatever you can afford to give. Anything you give would be much appreciated. As we just see, Dan Clegg has just went in provisional poll with a 142.0. Who is going to be the first person to break the 142 barrier? Who's going to be the first one to do it? We've got Chavez now, just entering the back straight, up through the gears. Coming up to the start-finish line now. Can they do it? No, not this time. Still 4/10 off. Ampuero improves time but does not improve position. Car number 31, Como, in that Ferrari, that old Ferrari there, again is not able to improve. And now we've got some cars coming through that are just coming to start their final laps of qualifying. And we'll see what these guys can do. We've got car number 25 just started. Who is coming around now to complete a lap? Car number 4. I don't know, it's coming through, does not improve. 20 seconds, still 2.4 off the pace. Nobody really on a hot lap just now. We're all just coming round to watch. We've got Wilder coming through the last couple of corners, dragging along a Team Europe car, the number 20 car, the Audi off. Dan Clegg's just in behind, he's going to get a tow. Dan Clegg now goes pole position, breaks the 142 barrier into 141.7. Dan Clegg is on the provisional pole and holds 7/10 over the closest America's racer. Got the McLaren of Chavez now, the number 9 McLaren, looking very good round there. No oversteer this time on the run up through the start finish straight. They will get one more chance if they don't do it this time, but we're looking to see an improvement, and we don't have a position change. They have found a little bit of time, a couple of tenths, but still 6/10 off that time, that lap from Dan Clegg. What a lap that must have been. Dan Clegg's still out there. Gordon's in the pits, that's them done. Clements is coming round as well, but we'll watch Hacker. Hacker's the next one to finish. Round the final corner. Past that glitched yellow flag as they come to the start finish line now. Any improvement? Yeah, a little bit of an improvement, but not an improvement in position. Fagan now in the Lamborghini goes into P8 ahead of their teammate. And I've got an America's car coming round now as well. But we'll just watch Chavez now. We'll come on board with this one. We'll see what they can do, as this is the challenge for pole position for Team Americas, for the Americas Racing League. Over both of those curbs, takes everything, and they've lost it. The rear has gone. Lost the rear as they came round there. Stays out of the way for their teammate, the number 21 car, Ampuero. That Ferrari is now the ARL's last opportunity to challenge Clegg for pole position. Makes use of all the available track, under control, a little bit high on those curbs, but makes it round. Now coming up through the gears, keeps it close to the wall. Ampuero does not improve, so that is going to be first, second and third position for Team Europe. Chavez takes fourth and Ampuero fifth. Fourth and fifth for Team Americas. Sixth place is Alex. We've got Smith and Fagan and Hacker all for Team Europe, 4 in a row there Frankhouse, White for Team Americas in 10th and 11th. Dalton in 12th. Komu in 13th for Team Americas. Pakiri for the Americas in 14th. Hall for Team Europe in 15th. Vallejo for the Americas in 16th. Shrotti and Lopez 17th and 18th for Americas. Mark Cedric takes 19th. Dookie there in 20th. Welder 21st. Won't let me change the camera, that's inconvenient. There we go. 21st we have Welder. Adenal for Team Europe in the 4. McLaren in 22nd. Clark 23rd. Craig 24th. Tucker 25th. Dave Bender in 26th for Team Americas. Bellamancia in 27th for Team Europe. And Chavez will round off the grid in 28th. So that is the grid for this race. Each driver will have to stop twice. There is a free strategy, meaning you can take fuel and tyres, one or the other, on neither if you wish, if you're that way inclined, but you will have to stop twice. The drivers now just finalising their setups for this race. It is going to start at 7 PM server time, so the sun's just going to be going down, and we'll probably finish under darkness just after the 9 o'clock mark. And if you're just joining us now, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. We are about to be live for the Intercontinental Challenge, the 2 hours of Imola between Team Europe and Team Americas. Team Europe represented by Race Club UK and Team Americas represented by Americans Racing League. We are here tonight to raise money for the charity of choice. That's Fertility Network UK, and if you just give me 10 to 15 seconds, I'm going to make sure I can get a link for you to post into the chat for you guys to support in any way you can. Please, if you can afford to do so, donate. If you cannot, please feel free to drop your name, drop yourself down in our chat, give a little comment, we'll give you a shout out, and yeah, anything you can do to support will be much appreciated. So 30 seconds left for the drivers. If you are one of those drivers who is able to concentrate on the game and have the stream open at the same time, please remember to hit drive. You do not want to be started automatically from the pit lane.
10 seconds.
As the short formation lap is just about to get underway. We do have one pit lane starter. That's the number 36 car of Jay Clark for Team Europe, who will be starting from the pit lane. Dan Clegg is going to get us underway. And we've got Gordon and Clement alongside Chavez and Ampuero in the 2 cars in 4th and 5th, going to be providing the challenge at the start of this race. But this is a 2-hour race, anything can happen, lots of things can go wrong. Tyre temperature, fuel levels, tyre wear, graining, all sorts, accidents, unforced errors can all happen between now and the end of this race. It could go any way, as the drivers now just beginning to get us onto the start finish grid. The adrenaline building, butterflies in the stomach as the driver's ready as we await the green light. And we are green. We are underway for the 2 hours of Imola. Clegg gets off well. Gordon pulls on alongside, but Chavez has a brilliant start. Pulls up into 3rd ahead of Clements. Chavez almost makes it on the inside. And Puello looks like maybe lost a position back there. And we've got a spinner. We've got one Team Europe car off already to get around. No one else seems to have had any issues. Everyone else seems to have gotten through okay. Chavez away at the back. I think that's a different Chavez there. Dan Clegg is away at the front. Ben Gordon up into P2. Chavez is sticking with him in P3. Great start from Chavez in that McLaren. Clements in 4th. Alex in 5th. And Puello down to 6th. Frankhouse in 7th. Smith in 8th. Hacker 9th. Under pressure from White in that Porsche. Two Porsches side by side round the top of the hill. We've got one Team America's car fairly wide out there at the back. That's Shorty at the back there. And these two are fighting very close for position. They've got a car facing the wrong way. That's the Ferrari of Komu, I think. Yep. And they'll need to be careful when rejoining not to take anyone else out. All frantic things at the start, and there's loads of cars here battling for position. All 14 Europe cars need to be careful into that chicane. And we've got a bump at the back there. That looks like maybe Fagan may have been hit, maybe Tucker as well. But as we come towards the end of the first lap, Clegg is out in front with almost a second to Ben Gordon. Great start from Team Europe. Chavez in P3, Clements 4th. Alex crosses the line in 5th. Just behind them we have Frankhouse, Smith. The two cars very close here, Hacker and White. Team Europe and Team America's. America's driver takes the racing line, brakes a lot later. Looks like that is the job done. And we've got another car wide here. Two America's cars getting very close. And Puello has had a nightmare at the start, now down into 12th. Vallejo also 13th and 14th for Team America. There's Duque there as well. Pakiri for Team America's in 15th. Adano, Yorkshire Mick in 16th. Hall 17th, Cedric 18th, Brother Mancia 19th. A lot of Team Europe cars bundled together here in about the middle of the pack. Fagan's had an absolute nightmare start, down in 21st. Lopez in 22nd, Tucker 23rd, Wilder 24th, Komu, Chavez and Bender, and then Clark, who started from the pit lane, rounds off the grid. So let's have a little look at some close battles now as we go on. Puello and Dalton very close here on the track. Let's see what these can get up to, as it looks like the front couple of guys have spread out a little bit, and this is where the action's going to be, as the Team Europe car very shaky on exit. Lamborghini and Ferrari very close in pace, but that looks like Puello's made the move down the inside into the second to last corner. The 21 car making the move stick, and that's up a position for the Americas. Got a lot of action going on just back there. All seems to be within the Team America's cars. That gets very out of hand. They touch. They've hit each other, and the LSX head-on crash. Number 7 is in big trouble. That Mercedes is in a lot of trouble. The engine cover's out. Everyone else will need to be very careful as they make their way past. It looks like they've missed all the trouble, but I think that car's going to have to go back to the pit lane. Use one of the pit stops, get it out of the way, be very careful on the way round. That's a big accident to start for Frankhouse, and not how they wanted to start this race. It looks like now we've got Smith and Puello. Puello recovering well, back up to 8th. As we come on board with Smith now, as we'll just listen to this Ferrari engine. Up through the gears. Move on this time, nothing doing. But a close battle going on here between Lopez, Craig and Tucker. Lopez thinks about it into turn 1. They're very close, aren't they, as they come through into the second chicane, the Villeneuve chicane. So that's me now put the link there in the chat for Fertility Network UK. Anything you can give to support would be much appreciated. I do apologise, it will be the first of many plugs this evening. I think we now have Team America's car in the pit lane, the number 23 car, that'll be the Mercedes. There's lots of Honda's Dookie's in the pit lane as well. The number 26 of Fagan. What's happened there? Fagan's got a pit stop out of the way early. Some clean air. So Fagan will be maybe thinking of doing 2 longer stints in that Lamborghini just to get some clean air, some clean laps in, and maybe recover their race. The number 28 car, Frank out, is the Mercedes we've seen struggling. We've got another car just coming into the pit lane as well there. 28, what's... 28 says it's moving on the driver tracker. I think it was Hall we've seen moving there on the driver tracker. The number 28, Porsche. Looks like they've been involved in an accident as well, but again, getting that pit stop now out of the way. Clement just putting Chavez under pressure in that McLaren. Look at the pressure now, almost pushing the McLaren through that chicane, over through the kink, over the crest now. Thinks about a move. Which way do they go? Not this time around. But Chavez looks like they're under a lot of pressure. Back end of that McLaren squirming on the way into the final corner. That BMW looking for the toe. The McLaren's fast in a straight line, but the BMW is no slouch either, and they're very close. The McLaren takes to the inside, the BMW to the racing line, and the McLaren does defend, but they've got wide onto the sausage curbs, and that's a mistake from Chavez, and that's allowed Clements through to take P3. That's Team Europe in first, second and third, hogging the podium just now, but we do have a long way to go in this one. They've got 2 hours to race. We've only done for 10 minutes. Most drivers have the 2 pit stops left. A lot of things can go wrong between now and then, and one of the things we do need to be aware of is the updated physics model for this game, where they have changed a lot of the tyre handling physics, and the tyres do tend to fall off a cliff. That's where they lose grip so quickly that it begins to cost you 3, 4, 5 seconds a lap. When they go, the tyres do struggle, and that's something new that a lot of these drivers will be just as experienced as the other, because that only came into effect a couple of weeks ago. Gordon now with the fastest lap. Ben Gordon for Team Europe goes purple on that Lamborghini, sorry, that Ferrari of Smith has just missed the braking point into the chicane and lost a couple of spaces, if not a couple of seconds. Car 24 running very slowly there. They've had an off somewhere, and that's a crash! That's a big crash. 3 cars off. What's going on? Oh my goodness, it's all going off. There's yellow flags out, guys. Take it easy through that corner. I cannot keep up with this, but there's been a lot of crashes coming through that dangerous section. Luckily Fagan's just missed it, so we've had Clark, I think, Craig, Chavez, the number 7 Frankhouse also involved in that again. They are not having a good day. Dookie out there as well. Big accidents going around here. That's all kicking off, and these are the type of things that I'm talking about that could happen to destabilise anyone's race. And right now everyone's kind of in position, but as this race goes on we're going to get rapid cars involved with the leaders, and that's when we can see some big pace differentials through these corners. And Dom Cross giving us a comment there, oof, that looks like it hurt. Yeah, that was a heavy one, wasn't it? Very heavy crash through that section, almost a blind corner. Let's come on board and see what it looks like. So they're coming around here, focusing on really keeping the rear end in stock. They take the corner and there's a car parked in front of them here. It's very hard to miss that. I think if any of them did get through there, they done very well. That was a good action-packed sequence for us. Not good for the racers. And car number 24 in the pit lane again. Billamancia, I think, was one of the big victims of that crash, and now about to go a lap down. Dookie 3 laps down has rejoined. That's good to see. Like I said, they've got a 3-hour race, a 2-hour race, 2 pit stops. Dookie has rejoined, and now good to see them back on track. Frankhouse having an absolute nightmare, about to be lapped by the 25 car. Hey Zombie Dom, good to see you. Good to see your joint. Hope you're enjoying the action. As we just watch Alex defending from White for the America's car. Got pretty high on that curb there. I'm glad to see that they made it through that corner okay. Thanks for the kind words, Zombie Dom. Glad to see you watching. So, we're a couple of laps in now, 7 laps in. Let's have a quick rundown of what is going on. Clegg is out in front and pulled at a 6-second gap. And that's pretty much what we expected, given qualifying. Gordon has been pulled along, but just losing touch now with Clegg after 15 minutes of running. And Clements, after that move on Chavez down into turn 1, up into 3rd, but Chavez has not been dropped. Still only a second behind, and we'll see if they can mount a challenge as this race goes on. Alex for Team Europe up into 5th, running very well. 5 seconds behind, but still running well, but a bit of a train forming behind them, the Alex train. We've got White in the number 3 car. The number 3, oh, is there a change there? What's happened there? That's Ampuero in front in the Ferrari actually. Has taken White. Ampuero recovering now, back up to P6. White in 7th. Hacker in the Porsche, number 10 Porsche in 8th with Ben Smith. I think it's Ben Smith. And P9, the number 16 car. And Schrotty runs off the top 10, just carrying Dalton along with them. A second or so behind. Then we've got a big gap, 8 seconds back to Vallejo, the number 12. Sorry, in 12th, the number 5 Porsche. And we've got a Porsche at the back there running a little wide. I think that's Tucker. Tucker's tucked in behind Adenal in that McLaren. They're both running very well, but the McLaren runs a little bit wide. That's opened the door, but they are just fighting each other. Remember, they are on the same team. They don't want to hold each other up, because at the end of this race the points will be tallied, and we'll see whether it's Americas or Europe that's come out on top. And that's Clark in a Nissan. Not seen a Nissan in a competitive race for a long time. Is that an overtaking move behind for position there? I think that is the Honda of Dookie being lapped by Clark. Sorry, by Craig. Yeah, it was. But yeah, I've not seen a Nissan on track in a long time, that GTR. I'll be interested to see how they fare. Pakiri for Team America's in the Audi, the 19 Audi, on the back of Craig. Komu involved in the accident earlier on, the big heavy one. And that Ferrari of Chavez looks very bouncy on those curbs, ran a little bit wide. Tyres maybe just beginning to go now, beginning to give up grip. Hall in 25th. Bellamancia still in the pit lane, 4 laps down, hopefully not thrown in the towel and they're just repairing the car. We'll keep an eye on that one. Dookie in the NSX was definitely involved in that crash, the number 23 car. And Frankhouse still running a very damaged car, obviously thinks it's okay to continue and not wanting to pit just yet. Maybe doesn't think the tyres will go long enough. It will take a long time to fix that damage. So let's see who have we got battling on track. These guys all look pretty close. Bender and Welder, both for Team America, is fighting it out for position. A lot of America's drivers and Europe drivers running together here. And they've got Ben Craig in the pit lane in that Porsche. Number 26 car, don't know if that one's scheduled, as we see the leaders just beginning to go by now. But Alex still out there in that BMW, doing a great job, and Puello recovering the race after the bad start. Let's keep a little eye with this one and see how these guys are able to do. And that looks like they've maybe ran a little bit wide, and that has allowed Ampuero through. Alex with the mistake on the exit of Toza, but still not letting this one go. Pulls out of it at the top of the hill. That Porsche runs a little bit wide, and now Alex having to defend from the Porsche driver, from White. Does it make the apex? That's going to compromise the exit. The Porsche, we do know, does lack straight line speed, and I think that has maybe been the Porsche's undoing. Otherwise that could have been a move there, with the Porsche a lot later on the brakes, runs wide. White has now run wide, and that's opened the door for Hacker potentially, but I think the Porsche was able, White was able to keep the speed up through that mistake. And they're very late on the brakes. What a move on the grass, and there's contact between the two Porsche drivers. Big contact from the Porsche drivers, White and Hacker, Americas and Europe coming together there on the second to last corner. That's one of the action zones on this track, and we've seen it live there. But not many people taking their pit stops. Fagan has, like we said earlier on, taken that pit stop, got some clean air, and back now up into 21st. I'm sure they pitted from way further back. So they've made some moves, some positions up in pitting alone. But another car in the pit lane, the number 5 car. That's Vallejo. They've just been involved in that bump, and they've elected to go into the pit lane. And that will repair their damage, but they will end up a little bit further down. We'll see how far they end up. And Craig's also in the pit lane. So both of those drivers in that accident feeling the need to pit and thinking this is now late enough in the race where they can take that pit stop. So Ampuero now is pulled at a little bit of a gap from Smith, and that's now got the Americas drivers back into a position. Almost lost the rear there into that chicane. But Clegg has got this race under control. 12 laps and led from the lights, from the green light to now, the 7-second gap. Let's jump on board and just see how Clegg does this. Clegg really is driving the wheels off that Audi, but how fast can he drive that car? Can he drive it for this? How long can he drive the car that fast? Is the question we're actually wondering. Let's have a little look through the field. These two seem to be the closest battle on track. Alex in that BMW now being closed down by that Porsche. So we'll see if White can make the move on Alex. I think that's some mistakes from both of the drivers there. We've got a car leaving the pit lane just now, number 27. That's Bender out of the pit lane and going to come out, I think, behind car number 2, is that? Car number 2? A lap behind now, Ben Gordon, but it's also a pit stop being completed. Quite hard to keep track of who's where now because some of these pit stops, none of the leaders, none of the top 10, none of the top 15 electing to pit just yet. But it is Alex and White, the closest battle on track between the Europe and America's team. And that's a mistake there from Alex, taking a lot off the curb. And that's going to allow the BMW to close in, it looks like. The push all over the back of that BMW, but I think at this point the straight line speed of that BMW is going to keep them ahead, or rather keep the Porsche behind. The Porsche just lacks so much in that straight line, the top speed department. And we've got a stop-go penalty. A. Chavez has picked up a stop-go penalty. That's very likely for speeding in the pit lane. And that will need to be served within the next 3 laps. As the race is going downhill very quickly. It's good to see Bill back out on track. 6 laps down, but like I said, keep going, you don't know what's going to happen. Franco's still out there nursing that heavily damaged number 7 Mercedes AMG. And Dookie still going as well in the Honda. Ben Craig looked a little bit offline there, the number 8 car. a little bit offline. Let's jump up there to see car number 30. Looks like they were involved in quite an intense battle. It's Alex and White again, and they're very close with each other. Into the chicane, White takes a lot of curb. And that Porsche is now all over the back as Hacker just sits behind, waiting to pounce. We've got yellow flags out, car number 8 at the top of the hill. Ben and Craig has had an accident, they're off track and they've ported back to the pit lane. That's an accident. We jump back to these two, White and Alex still fighting as White goes into the pit lane now. White takes the pit stop and that lets Alex go. White looking to perform the undercut. We'll see if Alex reacts on the next stop. We've got number 3 car now jumping into the as White as well. White in the pit lane, my apologies. The number 8 car is sitting with yellow flags on. Hopefully they're okay and okay to continue. We've got Chavez now serving the drive-through penalty as well. The number 25 Ferrari, that's the stop go cleared for the 25 car, and they're going to come back out now, I think in 24th. Number 6 is coming through to lap. Oh, be very careful. Guys, you need to give the cars coming out off the pit lane some room. They are allowed to rejoin the track from the pit lane, that's why that line is there. But Clegg out in front, Gordon and Clements rounds off the top 3 for Team Europe. It's a strong performance from them so far. We've got a car coming to get lapped now, the number 20 car. Who is the number 20 car? That's Clegg. Clegg coming to lap already. Some of these drivers, such as his pace today. Come now into the Villeneuve chicane. Let's keep an eye on Clegg. No sign of these tyres beginning to fade, as the track has just got a little bit cooler. That will help the tyres of it as the race goes on, the cooler temperatures. Alex does not pit. Alex does not cover the undercut. And we're beginning to see Hacker also in a Porsche close that gap. So is Alex now holding up his team? As Tucker's now got past Yorkshire Mick Adnell. In P13 in the McLaren. Clark in that Nissan, putting Lopez under pressure, only half a second behind. Got the blue flags waving just further back there. No, I thought that was a mistake, but it looked like maybe it's a little bit of lag. A little bit of lag maybe for Clark. Almost sending them wide. That number 8 car still in the pit lane. I don't know if that's maybe Craig thinking about calling it for a day. Hopefully able to continue. Number 3 and number 2 just going past the garage now. That's Gordon and White. Got a bit of a train going now behind Tucker. Tucker, Lopez, Clark. I don't know. Wilder and Komu all kind of following the track. We've got a lapped car in there as well. Yep, there it is. There's the lapped car, the Porsche, 28 Porsche. Of Hall. Need to be careful they don't get in the way, but the thing is they will be faster having pitted. As Tucker gets in front of a lap car now as well. Let's just stick on board with these guys for a while. This is the closest battle on track just now. Half a second between them. It looks like they've maybe got a car off the track just after the chicane, the Variante Bassa. That's the number 19. Akiri for Team America's looked like maybe had a little bit of an incident coming out of the chicane. But they seem to have rejoined without too much of an incident. Alex and Hacker still going round the track nicely. Clark in that Nissan is keeping it going in the correct direction. A little bit of some lag. Adenal in 15th, and that Porsche is looking fast behind, but it's also lapped. And about to get lapped by Wilder for the America's team as well. They'll need to give away because they are under the spell of the blue flags. Oh, that looked like a block. Come on, the BMW's lost it. Wilder's lost the rear, trying to get around the lapped car. That might be a bit of an impact. Who was the lapped car there? That is the number 20, I think. 23? No. But Bender there just allowing the number 4 McLaren through to lap before the chicane. But yellow flag out for car number 28. It's not one of the leaders, it's Hall. Hall's had a spin. Hall's had a spin out of Tamburello, and the Honda NSX behind of Dookie has also had a spin on the exit of Tamburello and rejoins in front of an Audi. That's the leader, Dan Clegg, rejoins in front of Clegg. Nearly causes a massive accident for the leader. Clegg will not be too happy about that one. But both drivers have made it through, thankfully. No lasting incidents there. Nothing to go to the steward's room about. But Clark in that Nissan and Lopez now almost side by side into Variante Bassa. We watch number 13 there of Lopez. It's Charlie Lopez. Just fell off the back a little bit of Clark. As we'll come back on and just watch Clegg. Clegg's lost a second there with the incident. And the number 28 car in front of them has dived into the pit lane, so that won't be an issue. That's Hall now into the pit, 3 laps down. This might be the final mandatory pit stop. I'll be impressed if they can go for an hour and 25 minutes without any more tyres. But stranger things have happened in the world of racing. We'll see how that one goes as we now come on board this close battle. We've got Fagan carving their way through the field after that early pit stop. And we've got Tucker just in front. And then Komu. This is now a battle for 16th place. To come on board with Fagan now through Variante Alta. Under a lot of control, and that back off that Porsche from Tucker looks very badly damaged. That'll be a lot of rear downforce being lost as they come through now this chicane. And then they're doing a car off there. Was there a car off at the side? The Porsche moves out of the way. I think it was car number 24. Car 24 looked like they were parked at the side of that chicane there. That's Belamancia. Get back on board with Fagan there, because Fagan was putting these two under a lot of pressure, but now is just back off a little bit. The number 10 car in the pit lane, but that's a stop-go penalty for Dookie. Dookie, with Team America's car, the 23 Honda's now got a 30-second stop-go penalty, and is now holding up. See the blue flags waving there? That means you have to get out of the way. The car's coming round to put a lap on you. You need to get out of the way. You must not hold that car up. So we've got our first winner today, the first driver to complete all of their pit stops, all of the mandatory pit stops, is Hall. Hall for Team Europe. The number 28 car, Ricky Hall. Down the inside off. That McLaren there, and that McLaren's going very slow. Who is that? Is that Adeno under pressure? What is going on there? Maybe he's had some accident or damage or something. I'm not sure. Maybe these guys are coming through to lap. But that's Adeno under a lot of pressure. Lost a couple of positions to Wilder. Yorkshire Mick in danger of dropping down the field because they've let Wilder and Como through. And Como and Wilder crash! It's a big crash, and these 3 Team Europe cars need to be careful. Adeno and Wilder make contact, as well as the Lamborghini of... I'm not even sure who that was. Fagan looks like they've got through unscathed. That Ferrari's now off the track and back across. What is Como doing? Into the pit lane, Como goes, and thank goodness they got out of the way of that one. Fagan now up into P12. Welder up into 13. Fagan with that early pit stop, now caught up to the back of Dalton. That is a great recovery drive from them so far. The number 4 car of Adenel now in the pit as well. Maybe they had some damage or tyres beginning to go off. They were going very slowly there. But that wasn't the issue. The issue was the 2 America's cars colliding. As Dookie still out there, serving the stop-go penalty now. Falthouse still driving that Merc. Look at the front of it. 3 laps down. Like, get in the pit lane, get that car at the speed, you'd only lose a lap. I think that AMG Mercedes should have been in the pit lane a long time ago, as the number 23 car clears the stop-go penalty. And I get a chance to catch my breath. Oh, at number 13, Lopez has now got himself a stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. The stewards have seen fit to slap Lopez with that penalty. Here's the push behind. Who is that? Number 11 Porsche. That looks like Shotty, very out of shape on the exit of Tamburello chicane. And that is Como under a lot of pressure, getting unlapped, I think, from Hall. Yep, that's Ricky Hall unlapping himself from Como. What a couple of laps this has been. We've got more cars now entering the pit lane. Frankhouse finally throws in the towel. Had enough of trying to deal with that damage on the Mercedes as the Nissan leaves the pit lane. Clark in behind them, leaving the pit lane. I think they're going to come out into some clean air, thankfully. We've got another stop-go penalty for the 14 car. That's Cedric for Team Europe in the McLaren. Now has a stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. A lot of speeding penalties being applied, and the stewards having a zero tolerance approach tonight or this afternoon, again depending where you're watching from. as the number 13 car goes through another lap without serving that penalty. White still in front. Who are they in front of there? I think that's White now in front of Hall. Hall doing a great job bringing themselves back through the field. Top drivers, the top 8 still to stop. Everyone else done at least one, apart from Wilder, also yet to stop. Cedric and Lopez to serve penalties. Got a number car off the track. Chavez off the track in the Ferrari at Variante Alta. Lost the car, a lot of rear damage. Careful on the rejoin. There's 2 cars now coming through, the 13 and the 11. As they wait for them to go through. That's fantastic race etiquette. You have to commend it when you see it. Fagan now all over the back of Dalton. 2 Lamborghinis now running side by side, 9th and 10th. And this is, I have to say, this is a fantastic recovery drive from Fagan as Cedric goes into the pits to serve the 30-second stop-go penalty. Fagan runs a little bit wide. There's a car spun, that's why. There's a Ferrari spun at the chicane. That's the... What car is that? It's the 31. Who is the 31 car? That is Komu again, facing the wrong way over the chicane. Not a good evening for Komu as they end up a little bit further now. A little bit of time lost, but now I think the next one through is going to be the number 2 car coming to lap. Gordon coming to lap. Couple of more cars in the pit lane. The 25 car, I think, now of Chavez now in the pit lane as well. It must be said, Dan Clegg doing a fantastic job of navigating the traffic. About to come on to the back of 34. That's Dalton and Fagan. And that's next up the road for Clegg. So Dan Clegg out there in front, the number 20 Audi for Team Europe. It's been sim racing now for 13 years. 13 years of experience gets you first place in an Inter-continental race against the America's Racing League. That's what that can get you. And as a little fact there about Dan Clegg, he is actually German. He likes to tell people that he's English, but really he was born in Germany. And that's something he does keep to himself with the rivalry the Germans and the English have. So let's have a little look there. Chavez is in 4th, Smith in 5th. Again, not letting Chavez pull away, but Godin and Clegg at the front. They've really put a big gap, and that almost turns in on the leader, but is that causing an issue further back? Who is that? Is that the number 22 car? That is Clements. Clements not under pressure from the car behind, thankfully, not for position. Fagan has let the leader through. Yeah, Fagan's let number 20 through, and that is Fagan now a whole lap behind. So that is Clegg now lapped up to 7th place. Only the top 6 now on the lead lap of this 2-hour endurance race. The top 6 are yet to pit. Number 30. Who is number 30? Number 30 is in the pit lane. Alex is now pulled into the pit lane. Alex is now pit. We'll see where they can come out, because they were in a very close battle with one of the America's drivers. I'm sure it was White, possibly. And Puero still battling their way back through the field. Schrotty is second for Americas. Chavez still leading the charge. What's happened to Gordon? Gordon is now 25 seconds down as Clegg now dives into the pit lane. The leader is now in the pits. Class leader in the pit lane there. We'll see where they are going to come out if they've got to deal with traffic. Alex now just leaving the pit lane. So again, we'll see where they come out now. Welders went through and Puello through. Here comes White at the end of the pit lane, and that's a 30-second penalty for Alex as well. Another speeding penalty being dished out. They were in a close battle with White. White performed the undercut, but didn't have to anyway, as Alex has gotten himself the penalty, the 30-second penalty. Gordon also jumped into the pit lane. Given the length of time Clegg's been stationary, that is a stop for tyres and fuel. So they'll be coming out on fresh tyres as we see the Porsche now just there leaving the pit lane. Chavez, I think, is just a little bit... No, Chavez just went through in first, so Chavez has taken the lead off the race. Where is Clegg going to come out? I think third? Clegg in third? Smith's went through into second. Gordon's still stationary. Clegg coming at the pit lane now. Number 11, Schrotty, is coming on the start-finish straight. So that's Schrotty, that's Clegg down into fourth. Gordon's going to be potentially in fifth. As Fagan has had an absolute blinder of a recovery race. That clean air has done them wonders. Are they going to be ahead of Ben Gordon as they come out of the pit lane? Ben's out of the pits in front. Fagan's got the closing speed and they're almost bumper to bumper. Fagan has been on these tyres a lot longer, obviously. They won't be as fast, the tyres will be a bit more worn. But that's a great recovery from Fagan, who was down in the bottom half of the field after the first couple of laps. Great recovery from them. Alex only got 2 more laps to serve that stop-go penalty. The number 4 car, let's see, we've got cars on this train here. Number 4, Adenel. That's the Yorkshire Mick Adenel. And we've got a Porsche behind us, just run a little bit wide. We think that's Hall, who has completed all the mandatory pit stops, but I'll be surprised if they're not in the pit lane again. Chavez and Hall are racing for position. And just in behind them we've got a Ferrari, I think that is Gordon coming to lap. Yep, Gordon coming to lap them. The number 26 I think it is, and Gordon, yep, gets the lap done. Cleanly past it, that's almost contact. Almost contact back there from Chavez, taking a couple of cars out. That's the 22 BMW Clements and Fagan gone past as well. And I think Craig in that Porsche, 16 laps down now, is thrown in the towel, parked up at the end of the pit lane. That's our first retirement of the evening. But the Mancia almost running it wide there on the Villeneuve chicane too. Got Dookie down there in 26, obviously, and Frankhouse 25th. Both of those drivers involved in a big accident earlier on in the race. And now number 30 has got 1 more lap, so we know Alex will be coming into the pits to serve that 30-second penalty at the end of this lap. Fagan still in front of Clements. Gordon leads them both. This is now for position, of course. And how far back is Dalton? Dalton's not too far back either, so we've got 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th for Team Europe. 3rd and 2nd as well. Chavez out in front, of course, yet to pit, and neither has Smith. Chavez and Smith yet to pit. And Clegg is the de facto leader of the race. Alex now needs to dive in the pit lane here. Clark in that Nissan, still trundling through what must be like steering through treacle, because that car is not the most user friendly. A lot of curb, a big chunk of curb being bitten by that Nissan over that chicane there. We've got some drivers in close proximity now. We've got your Gordon in the Ferrari, Fagan and Clements. I think Clements may have taken Tom Fagan there. Yep, that's the BMW up in front. Clements up in front now. Chavez still out in front yet to pit. Clegg up into P2 as Smith comes in for their first pit stop, and that's them off the jacks already, so he'll be good to go. Gordon coming through, so Gordon's going to take that position, and the stop go penalty is now clear. But is that Schrotty? Schrotty's got a stop go now. Schrotty now has a penalty. Give me 2 seconds, a little bit of technical difficulties here. There we go, that looks to be it fixed now. Schrotty obviously now got 2 laps left to serve that penalty. We've got a couple of cars now served. Oh, their pit stops. They've got Bender, the number 20 car, the furthest forward person to serve all their pit stops. Clegg now. How far ahead is Chavez? Chavez, I think, might be looking to only do 1 tyre change. If they can get to the hour mark, change the tyres, and then do a splash and dash for fuel later on, that might be what they're looking to do. The number 11 Porsche coming to be overtaken by Clegg. Clegg runs a little wide as the Porsche goes over the sausage curb. It's good driving there from Clegg actually. As now Clegg gets through. Gordon has taken 3rd. Clements doing well there. Fagan still hanging on. Again, a great recovery from Fagan there. As we now get into this part of the race where everyone is just beginning to spread out, and Puero again. Great recovery from them. They were down out of the top 10 after lap 1. Wilder doing well, getting the overcut. But Smith lapping Komu in that Ferrari. With White coming to join that as well. White being dragged along by Smith. Hacker in the Porsche. Little bit further behind Vallejo in the number 5. I think that's the new Porsche as well. Clark in that Nissan. Driving that Nissan superbly, it must be said. The car's about a second a lap slower than anything else on the grid. Fagan into the pit stop now. I think maybe thinking take one more stop and get these tyres through to the end. That could be an option. We'll see if he can make that work, but that is going to put him down on the lead lap as Chavez comes through to lead lap 33 off this race. We're nearly at half distance as Clegg looking to lap the Nissan. The Nissan almost gets a little bit out of shape, letting Clegg through there in the second to last corner. That Honda looks a handful, doesn't it? We've got Clark now looking to make that lap as well. Schrotty on the grass! Gets the car slowed down, doesn't hit the wall. Slows it down, and plenty of time for the pit lane speed limiter. You don't want to get yourself a double penalty, but that's them now serving that penalty. Chavez has cleared that lap, Porsche. And I think Clegg slowly closing that gap as well, but I think Chavez will go maybe one or two more laps and get the first pit stop done. The question is, where will they then come out and what strategy does that put them on, as Fagan has rejoined in 13th, and we are now joined by a very special guest from Race Club UK. We'll be joined by Jørgen Lofstrand in a second.
Hello guys.
Yeah, hi Jørgen, thanks for joining us tonight. Why aren't you racing tonight?
I gave it up.
Commitments, other commitments, that's fine.
Yeah.
Have you been watching so far, yeah? Or parts at least?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what's kind of going on at least. So we've got right now Team America, Chavez out in front but yet to stop. I think they'll be going late with this first pit stop, take tyres, and then the second stop take some fuel only, try and make some time back, because Clegg is out in front, and I'm sure you'll know, having raced against him, just how fast he is. Now we're almost, I think the length of the start finish straight now only separates them, so they're pretty close together. Yeah, Godin, I think, in third.
At halfway mark, still
As we've just hit the halfway point, so we'll just run through the field. Clements in P4. Dalton in P5. So Team Europe 2, 3, 4 and 5. Team Americas with Ampuero up into P6 in that Ferrari. Great recovery drive. They were out, I don't know if you've seen this, they were out off the top 10 after lap 1. After qualifying 5th. Wilder in 7th. Oh, was that almost contact there? Wilder and Smith. Wilder's wide, and that's going to allow Smith through. Smith through on the exit off the final corner. So that's a position being made up for Team Europe up into P7. Wilder now in 8th. We're looking to recover. White just behind, being dragged along in 9th, and the top 10 rounded off by Hacker. Wilder also yet to pit as well, actually, so they'll be on quite old tyres. So that's the top 10 there. What's your experience with the new update just now with the tyre simulation? How long do these tyres last?
I think it's depending on the driving.
Yeah.
But it seems better than the last batch. 1.8. There was, I think, the 1.9 upgrade is better.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely nicer to drive.
Yeah.
Definitely nicer to drive, as we see.
It's a wider window, work window.
Yes, it definitely is. It's definitely easier to set the car up as well.
Yeah, it's more forgiving.
Yeah. I find that the tyres tend to fall off a cliff a lot faster. They tend to give up a lot of grip really quickly as they get worn.
Yeah, if you get off the web temperature.
Yeah, and if you push them really hard as well at the start, it really destroys the tyres, is what I've found in my experience with it. But I've not really driven that much with it so far. But we're getting a lot of good data here. We've got, what's this here? Sorry, I did interrupt you. We've got Chavez just getting around the lap car at the lead there. A little bit of trouble for them, but that's fine. They've dealt with that quickly. Sorry, what were you saying?
Just look at Tom Hacker is really close to
Hacker.
White's 7 and 8.
Hacker. Who is Hacker next to? Hacker, car number 10. Is close to a McLaren of some kind, I think. Is it Chavez? Yeah, Chavez has just been lapped Hacker. That's what that was. That's fine. Yeah. It's hard to keep up with who exactly is where. Yeah, we're now in that part of the race where they're all kind of muddled up, and it's hard to kind of follow. We've had Wilder just out of the pit lane and receiving a stop-go penalty for speeding. So that's Wilder now under a lot of pressure. One driver I've been very impressed with so far is Tom Fagan, the 26 Lamborghini. Completed all of their stops, pitted about 5 minutes ago, and they were down, I think, down 18th or 19th at the end of lap 1.
He's in a good spot.
I could see him being up there towards the podium as this begins to even out now, because they're in almost a bit of clean air with some fresh. Dalton. Yep, Dalton as well. Both Lamborghinis running very well, actually. Both of these in some clear air, some good lap times in. Not battling anyone, pushing the tyres too hard. So I think
Wilder's got to stop and go now.
Wilder picked up a stop-go for, I think, speeding in the pit lane. That's going to drop them down quite a bit. It was car number 13. That could see them down out of the top 20, I think, once they serve that penalty. So work to do for them. So I'm just watching Chavez just now, still yet to pit. An hour and 5 without being in the pit stop. That's very interesting.
Haven't pit once yet.
Not pitted at all yet. That is interesting. They were a little bit off the pace as they get very high on the curb through the chicane. Kept it under control. Yeah, very, very slow to start with, and we now know why. They've obviously thrown as much fuel in that car and just driving it, I think, until it runs out of fuel, basically. And I think they're going to take a pit stop. Should be soon now. Not this lap.
This will be should be interesting to see how much he loses in the pits.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clegg is going fast enough that he will take first back. But the thing is, when it comes to the second pit stop, because Clegg's been on these tyres now, I think 25 minutes, nearly half an hour. So I think Clegg will need to either take tyres at the next stop, which will cost them about another 20 seconds, and fuel, whereas I think Chavez will just, for the first stop, take tyres and then fuel only for the second stop, which could save them a lot of time, up to potentially 30 seconds. So if Chavez can keep within 30 seconds of Clegg, that will be very interesting towards the end, as Clegg just loses the rear coming out of Toza. Keeps it fine, keeps it going in the right direction. So I'm going to just give some of these drivers a little bit lower down some love and get them on the screen for a little bit. So Frank House has had a little bit of a nightmare. I don't know if you've been watching. Frank House, the number 7 AMG for Mercedes for Team Americas, has been involved in 2 separate incidents, none of which I think were their fault. And then had quite a lot of damage and just continued to drive for about 20 minutes rather than just pit, which I thought was strange. I think they were worried about their tyres going off. But they just trundled along, losing about 20 to 30 seconds a lap for about 4 laps, and that's why they're 4 laps down. So he had a bit of a nightmare there. I think so, actually. Yeah, just the one Mercedes. That's quite surprising.
Only one Audi. No, Dan has an Audi.
2 Audis, yeah. Dan's got the Audi and somebody lower down, I think. Pakiri, number 19 car. Also currently in the pit lane, fixing a bit of damage. That car looks damaged quite badly at the rear.
I think it's West on there.
But that'll be them completing their stops as well. I'm just watching Duki, the number 23 Honda, running quite wide there. I've just kind of noticed just now as well the driver's lights showing a bit more, so it's definitely getting a bit darker, bringing the temperature down. Temperature's dropped 4 degrees.
And it's only 21 degrees now.
Yeah, it's dropped 4 degrees since the start of this race. Just kind of tell everyone what kind of impact that has on the car.
Yeah, that's why it's strange. We don't pit.
We've got a yellow flag out there, the second to last corner. Number 13. Number 13's been off the track. That's Lopez. Don't know what's happened there. They're stationary though, so I don't know if maybe you're thinking that's it. No, they're moving now.
Yeah, it's on the grass now.
Has he been on the wall or anything? Doesn't look damaged.
I think he's missed the ball.
Yeah, I think it's just a spin. They've kept it out of the wall, thankfully. They're able to continue. And that Audi's still in the pit lane. Must be fixing quite a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Still sitting there, yeah.
I hope it's not retired.
I hope not.
Points count.
Every point does count. Yeah, we've already got at least one retirement. Craig in the Porsche, the number 8 car for Team Europe, has thrown in the towel, parked at the end of the pit lane.
I mean, Dan is only 13 seconds behind Chavez. No.
13 seconds gap. It's a small, yeah, he's made inroads. Slowly pulling in Chavez. That's Chavez now in the pits. Chavez in the pits. And that's Clegg now gone through.
Yeah.
As Clegg retakes the lead off the race. Chavez into the pit lane, and I'm going to watch this pit stop just to see how long it is. They'll have to take tyres, but that's only 48 minutes left for these tyres to run. We know Chavez can get them running for, well, it's an hour and 20 minutes, so we know the tyres will last on that McLaren. It's just a matter of how quick the second pit stop can be. As Gordon goes through now as well to take P2 again, and Clements as well into third. So that's Team Europe back into the podium positions, all three of them. As Chavez gets moving now, so that is a tyre stop, that's 30 seconds. And Puero now going through as well, so Chavez now into 5th position. Smith may be coming out as well. Smith's coming down the straight, the number 16 car. I think Chavez is far enough ahead. I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So
He's fine.
Yeah, so that's now everybody taking at least one pit stop. Everyone's been in the pits once, so I'll quickly run through the order. We've got Clegg, Gordon and Clements for Team Europe, and Puero and Chavez for the Americas team. Then we've got Smith and Hacker for Team Europe, White, Vallejo, White's in the pits as well actually, Vallejo and for Team Americas, Clark in 10th, all over the back of the car in front of them actually. I think it's not for position, I think that's a lap down. 11th Dalton, Fagan 12th, both of these drivers have completed all their pit stops. Alex.
Now for the second stop.
Sorry, who's this? Sorry, Clark?
Number 5. No, number 3 I mean.
White, yeah, White's just completed the pit stop as well.
He got first on the guys who finished all pit stops.
I think Dalton and Fagan's got past in front of them. White just came out behind them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just the driver tracker is a little bit slow. It took a while to update itself. Alex in 13th. We've got Yorkshire Mick in 14th. Komu in 15th, running a little bit wide on the exit off the final corner there, just keeping it together. Cedric 16th. Schrotti in 17th. Tucker 18th. And Bender very close behind. We've got a couple of cars in close succession there. He'll quickly stay with his battle just now, because Tucker is holding off Bender in that Lamborghini just behind. Through the final corner. And that Porsche is slow in a straight line. Which way is the Porsche going to defend? Which way will Tucker go? Bender goes to the inside, into turn 1, into Tamburello on the brakes, thinks better off it. Nothing doing this time around. So that's Tucker 18th, Bender 19th. Lopez with the Americas in 20th. Lopez actually just in front of Hall. These two are very close as well, almost side by side, pushing each other through that final corner. And Hall jumping into the pit lane. So that's not a mandatory stop, this is unplanned. Hall did pit on lap 1 for damage, so maybe the tyre's just going off. Yeah, fuel maybe as well, yeah. Welder gets away with that one then. Pakiri in 23rd. I think we've got two Chavez's racing here actually, I've just realised. Yes we do. A Chavez 25 car in 24th. Dookie in...
Only Honda is in the pit as well.
Honda, yeah, Dookie's been in there for quite some time now. I think. No, that's the car just off the jacks now.
He's on the way now.
On his way. So they're going to rejoin. Not really sure who they're in front of. I think they're going to rejoin in last. But the Manciers just went through, so they're going to come out behind them. That's the final pit stop done though. As I think is that Clegg coming through. Clegg, I think, just to come into the back of that Honda. Being held up. That's a couple, maybe a second or so Clegg will have lost there. But Clegg's nearly a full sector. More than a full sector now. In front of Gordon. How far is he? How far? Does not tell me. Gordon's just crossed the start finish line now. So that's, yeah, almost half the lap in front now, so that's quite a while, that's 40 odd seconds. And Puero in 4th. Chavez 5th. So who's close? Who's fighting on the track? Let's see, who can we get? Tucker and Bender fighting for 18th, but Tucker needs to pit once more.
Yeah, Tucker and Bender's close.
I think that's the closest battle we've got on track just now.
Yeah, but Chris Clemens, number 22,
Oh right, for second place, yeah, they're pretty close as well.
I don't think they're fighting each other.
Yeah, I think these two will be smart enough to know that 1, 2 and 3. Oh, who's that? That's a Nissan, that's a lap car, that's Clark. The only Nissan in the field. I've not seen a Nissan race in a Seto Coaster for a long time. That obviously likes to make the game a little bit harder for themselves. It's maybe a bit of stop in the pits. Here we go, final pit stop for the Nissan. So that's quite a few drivers now. Getting rid of all the pit stops. Yorkshire Mick Adenell in the 15th is very close to Como. As Como gets out of shape over the chicane. And that's maybe going to allow the McLaren. Not quite this time around, I don't think.
After the last yeah.
Oh, they ran wide, there we go, that's the move. Yorkshire Mick down the inside of the final turn. The Ferrari pushes very hard on exit, runs wide.
Really nice overtake, really nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. Great to catch that one on camera as well.
Como got in the pit.
Comer's died in the pit lane after that one.
Yeah.
Clark now off the jacks in the Nissan, so he's coming through and now about to be lapped by Clegg. Number 14 Cedric goes past. Number 5 coming through now as well. It's a lapped car. I don't know who's behind them. Is it 11? Schrotty, yep, Schrotty. So the Nissan going to rejoin, I think, in 16th.
Yeah.
Once the tracker updates itself.
Number 6 in the pit, number 31 in the pit.
Some lots of drivers now coming in for the final stops. Tucker in that Porsche. And the 31. Como, that's the Ferrari of Como as well. Yep. I'm going to take a quick look through the field and just see if we can find anyone else. But now it's very noticeable that night has fallen. So it's dark, a lot darker now. The tyres will be beginning to get a little bit colder.
Yeah, it's only 20 degrees now.
Yep. So hopefully when they've went in for that final pit, they have thought about that and adjusted their pressures accordingly, because like we said earlier on, if those tyres are not up to temperature, they will just fall off a cliff in terms of grip. And that might be what we're seeing with Godin, because Godin's fell 40 seconds back from Clegg, nearly, and Chris Clements in the 22 BMW only a second and a half behind. So maybe Godin's out there struggling with those tyres and will be able to fix it for their final stint. I'm still very, very interested to see what will happen with Chavez on the final stop as well, because they have been very quick considering their first stint was 80 minutes long.
Just past he passed.
Oh, is that for position? No, not yet,
for,
not yet.
Left, another Chavez in Team America. Number 25, he just passed.
Oh yeah. Chavez passes Chavez.
Yes.
So
He's quite close to.
yeah, just beginning to reel them in a little bit, I think. D. Chavez, that's Dennis Chavez apparently is his first name, and he's from Ecuador, Ecuadorian driver.
Hacker is actually the pit now.
Hacker completed the final pit stop for them as well.
Yeah.
Quite a little bit still behind 11th, but 11th still to pit. Yeah, Hacker's got a while.
Clegg has the fastest lap, 1:42.42.
A 1:43.4 is a very quick race lap. But I think pole position was a 1:42.7. So that's a very quick race lap, if that's his fastest lap. That's good.
42.2.
So one battle I am interested in watching, we've got Fagan now, within a second of Dalton in front of them. Fagan is on a mission. Takes a lot of curb on that first corner, but keeps it under control. Car bouncing over the curbs, but still in control. Very impressive.
Yeah. There's a Lamborghini ahead of him as well.
Yeah, both the same car.
He's close now. He's down to a second now. Clement is really close to as well. 2:22 under the second.
So, just to make everyone aware, this race tonight is obviously it's for charity. We are looking to raise awareness and funds for a fantastic charity. They look to help about 3.5 million people who struggle with fertility issues and the ability to have children. It's called Fertility Network UK, and anything that you guys can do to support, anything you can afford, please please give what you can. We have posted the link on the live chat tonight. Just Giving page, so it all goes through directly to the charity. Anything you can afford to give, please, anything you can. Just remember to donate. Thank you. So now that plug's out of the way, we'll do another one before we go, just so everyone is fully aware of how you can help support. But now that's done, let's go back through these racers as they now get into the twilight part of this race. Night's falling, temperature's falling, headlights are now on. The pressure is on for everyone apart from Clegg, who's led this, had this in control for most of the race. A little bit wide on the exit there of the final corner, but mostly, generally speaking, has been in full control of this race so far. So a little bit more on the America's team. Something I've picked up in the past couple of days. We've got Chavez, currently running in 5th. Ecuadorian driver living in the US West Coast, I assume that means somewhere in California. Apparently, this is his diet, this is what he does to train for these races. He eats broccoli, chicken and rice for lunch for the past 3 years.
Chris Clement is pitting now.
Chris Clement's now dived into the pits. Clement's into the pits for the final pit stop. That's the first of the leaders.
Yes.
Jumped into the pit lane.
It's interesting to see where he get out.
Yeah, I want to know who's going past in the 21. That's Ampuero. Ampuero now into the pits. That's the... I don't know how you... Yeah. So that's the Panamanian driver into the pits, who is... I think they're going to be okay. Next driver back is just coming down through the back straight into the second to last corner now. Clements is gone. Clements has finished the pit stop.
Yep.
I think Clements will be fine to rejoin in 5th place. Let's just check. It's going to be close actually. Somebody has just went past. I think that's not for position. Oh no, the next car is pitted as well. Number 5, yep. Dalton now is interesting. Dalton and Fagan, the Lamborghini drivers, don't have to come into the pit.
Oh yeah.
And we'll see where this puts them now. Ampuero has got out of the pit lane. Dalton goes past Vallejo, as will Fagan. Shortly now, I think round about now. Fagan goes through into P8. Yep, that's Fagan through. And White. White's went through too.
Yes.
Alex now into the pit lane. Number 30, the BMW. Into the pit lane now.
Yeah.
As Hacker, who does not have to pit, will take P11. That's Hacker through. Next one back is Schrotty, who's well over half a lap backwards. Clark, Bender and Adenil. Oh, way for the other thing.
Dan is in the pits.
Clegg's in the pits. Leader is now in the pit lane.
Yep.
This will be interesting. Where will they come out? And also, what does Gordon do? Because last time Gordon pitted on the same lap as Clegg. Almost like they planned it. Let's see if Gordon can push his way up into P1. Gordon goes through. He's going to push himself into the lead the same way as John Surtees pushed him out of the way at the first round of A1 GP back in the day. That happened. That's a real story. Ben Gordon got in a fight with the only motorcycle and Formula 1 world champion. Chavez, D. Chavez now still in P3, up into P2 now. Oh, actually, where will they come out? Because Clegg's just leaving the pit box.
Yeah.
Chavez needs to be in front for this strategy to work. Chavez needs to get in front. And it's very close. Clegg now getting up to speed. This is going to be close.
Yeah.
This is going to be close. Chavez thinks better of it, and you know what? I think that might be it. That was the moment there.
The sad thing is Chavez is going for another.
Sorry, who's in the pits now?
No,
Smith.
Chavez is one more to make.
Yes, Chavez. Yeah, so Chavez has got a pit stop to do, but his last pit stop was with 40 minutes to go. It was only 13 minutes ago.
Oh.
So I think they'll be pitting just for fuel only,
Okay.
like just a splash and dash, a couple of litres of fuel. So the pit stop will only be a 2 or 3 seconds stationary. So I think for that to work, he needed to come out in front of Gordon. Sorry, in front of Clegg. He needed to be in front of Clegg for that strategy to work.
Gordon is in pit now.
Yes, Gordon's now boxed. Okay. Yep, so we'll just see, I think it'll be close. We've got yellow flags for car number 7. That's Frankhouse off the track at Variante Alta. Rejoined safely. No issues, no major issues. So Clegg and Chavez are going to come through.
Yes.
So Chavez is going to go up into P2.
Yes.
And that's interesting now because, yeah, Chavez does have to pit. It's quite a long pit lane here at Imola.
Yeah, it is.
And that's a car there just getting out of the way, a lapped car. I always find it scary when you're the lapped car and you've got leaders coming through. And it's coming up to a corner. I like to just make sure that I get lapped on a straight. Just make it nice and easy, just lift off, maybe miss a gear or something and they just let them go past. When it comes to a corner though, I always panic because all it takes is one mistake from either of you.
Let's see if we can hold off Clemens. It's coming on straight now.
Gordon and Clements, yeah, it's close. I think Clements is going to take it.
Yeah.
Clements threw up into P3, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But Gordon will have slightly fresher tyres.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that can work to his advantage. We've got a car in the pit lane. I think that's A. Chavez now coming into the pits. There's already 6 laps down. But that means Villamancia has caught one more lap extra. I thought they'd taken it for position. Comust in the pits again. That Ferrari, the 31 Ferrari in the pit lane again. That's interesting as we've got another car leaving the pits.
He's out again.
After one lap, Clegg's put a second and a half on Chavez. Quite a big lap. But I'm just going to quickly jump on with Gordon here. On board on the stream. All over the back of Clements. Ferrari versus BMW. Car in front kicking up dust. Clements has missed the apex on the final corner. That's opened the door. Gordon's got a better run. Thanks to BMW's power.
straight the BMW.
Yeah, it looks very fast. And yep, under control from Clements. Great, predictable but tough defending. Well, these two, we need to remember they're on the same team, and they might not know that Chavez does not need to take new tyres. Chavez will gain about 20 seconds on these two when he comes out of his pit lane, his pit box, sorry. So Dalton's just began to pull away from Fagan. But 4 seconds is the gap now, and Fagan's fallen back into the hands of White in the push.
Interesting.
Schwatte's still to make the final stop as well. Comu's still in the pit lane. I think that might be a retirement. 4 laps down now. Frankow's still going, 6 laps down.
There's only 2 cars left, so we didn't have complete pit stops. Number 11 and number 9.
That's Schrotti and the Chavez up at the top, yep. And we've got a lapped car interfering with a battle, the America's car. Gordon flashing his lights frantically to make them aware.
Yeah.
But they all got through without incident, but I think Gordon just seen the worst thing possible maybe happening there. Letting one car go through, thinking that's it, and then the lapped car pulls back onto the racing line. Ends up in a crash, but nothing happened there, thankfully. Chavez now 4 seconds behind Clegg. Clegg has just darted out in front. 55 laps in. Led for about 50 of them. Way out in front. I'm just looking at Clements from his rear wing, looking back at Gordon, and the gap is so small. And it's out of that corner there. That's where Gordon is making the difference. That Ferrari looks very good on the brakes. I think here just the BMW's power, just
BMW is very good on straights. Look how he's pulling away. Jesus.
yeah, up through the gears. That's a very fast car in the straight line and a very good car to have for this track. We've got a big chunk of cars just coming towards the end of the lap now, very close together.
Chavez has crashed.
No. D. Chavez. Oh no.
He's linking yeah, he must in the pit.
Oh, he's had an accident.
Yeah.
And where about are they on the track?
He's in the chicane now.
Just going through the chicane there, so that's going to cost them a lot of time. And 25, car number 25's in the wall. That's A. Chavez, they've both in the wall. Have they hit each other? No, they could have.
Yeah, I don't know.
They may have hit each other. Oh, I hope that's not been the case. But I don't know, I don't actually know if they're related, to be honest. I don't know if they are brothers. I can find out though. I can find out. Yeah.
Undrivable car. Yeah, too bad.
Yep, I don't know if they're related or not too sure.
Let's see how much damage he has.
I think it might be a long pit stop, this one. That's fine, you watch the pit stop. I'm going to watch Gordon and Clements fight into turn 1. Because they're a lot closer this time around. As Gordon thinks a bit of move down the inside. Clements has none of it. Gordon's frustration building. Chavez has been accompanied by, pulled right at the back of Komu, I think. Yep. I'm being told that it looks like about 1 minute and 9 seconds of damage in the chat there. For Chavez, 1 minute and 9 seconds of that. That's a big accident they've had, and that's going to drop them well down the order. And I think maybe give this event to Team Europe.
Yeah. At least top 3 is Europe, then 5, 6, 7 Europe.
This is interesting. We've got 2 lapped cars. We've got, I think, the Mercedes-Benz being lapped, as well as, I think it's an Audi? I'm not too sure. We've got Gordon and Clements fighting their way through lap traffic at the end of the lap. Only half a second between them, but the gap looks a lot smaller now as Clements weaving to try and break the toe. Very close in the back, and the Ferrari gets very close. Gordon just gets the car stopped in time. And we've got a stop-go penalty for car number 25, A. Chavez, as well. Concentration maybe beginning to go at the end of this race. Fagan and Smith very close. I think that's Fagan being overtaken. Fagan up to 5th. What has happened there to Dalton? Dalton's in the pits. But Fagan has kept going.
He must have spun out or something.
Fagan are all over the back of Smith. 2 tenths in it. The battle left on this race though, for second place, Clements and Gordon, and I feel like we see this almost every week in Race Club UK. These two always seem to be very close on track. Using the slipstream, the BMW, and Gordon flashing the lights again. Of course, Clement's got absolutely no obligation to get out of the way. It's Gordon's ran wide. Just keeps it under control. Nearly
died.
Nearly died in the wall. Nearly away to speak to his friend, Mr. Barry R. But that might see the end of that challenge. We'll see if he can pull himself back up. 4th place, kind of out there on their own. So that one's kind of set in stone. Smith and Fagan all kind of lapping at about the same pace as well. Just dragging White along with them.
He's hanging in there. Good.
Dan's coming out to lap this lot, this trio of cars. I think Chavez has retired from this race as well. They're still in the pits. So I think, oh no, take that back, they're moving now. Just a big chunk of damage to repair. Oh, just stop go. I think they've been in the pits twice, once to repair the damage and once for the stop go. And I've just not noticed that they've left.
Yeah.
12 minutes to go.
It's getting closer to white.
So on board, I'm watching on board on the stream now with Dan, and I'm just going to watch a lap.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens. I'm going to keep an eye on the driver map. But I think, actually no, I'm going to go and watch Clements and Gordon because they're still only a couple of tenths apart. Yeah, this is the battle we want to watch, I think. Because Clements has gotten out of shape on the exit to that off that chicane. And Gordon's just able to go. Gordon's got so much more front grip.
Chavez trying to lap in front of them.
Chavez just in front of number 9, yeah.
Yeah.
And that will sting. That one will hurt. Got a yellow car flag down at the second to last corner, car number 21. That's Ampuero. I think it's been off the track. Just in front of Clegg. I think there's a big gaggle of cars here. Fagan up into 5th.
Yeah.
What's happened there? Smith. Fagan, we've got a lapped Audi, the other Audi in the field. I think Pakiri causing absolute chaos. Fagan flashing the lights frantically to get past. Fagan knows what's behind. Gordon is all over the back now of Clements. Clements has lost it. Clements in the wall.
No.
Clements and the number 9. Clements and Chavez in the wall together. That.
No.
Oh dear, that spoiled a fantastic end to this race. And that's Gordon now up into P2. Oh dear, that's a couple of corners now gap as well. Just behind those on track, we have got Adnall, Yorkshire Mick, just holding off Wilder. And that's not the boxer. Wilder thinking about a move, that BMW straight line speed. Yorkshire Mick takes the middle off the track, and that has allowed Wilder through. I don't think there's a lot more Mick could have done. And Mick's a little bit out of control. Who's that coming through there? Didn't quite catch who that was. That's Wilder now went through, and is that Chavez again? Chavez, the car is an absolute handful just now.
White is white behind Fagan now. Number 3.
Yep, Fagan's got through, yeah. Fagan has gotten through. Fagan, an absolute brilliant recovery drive up into 5th. And only a couple of seconds now behind Smith, who might be carrying damage. No, sorry, it's Clements who may have the damage. How was Clements? Car looks not bad. I don't think it was major contact. I think they just... Yeah, I think it was just a little touch.
I did a 44.6 Clemens, so he's not.
He's not in too much trouble. Yeah, not in too much trouble. Good. That's Team Europe now occupying the top 5 spaces.
Yeah.
And Dan Clegg. Sorry, go ahead.
Is the one who owns the flag for Team America.
Yep, M. White doing a fantastic job.
Yeah,
Keep. I think M. White might have actually been substituted in.
No, he's.
I don't have him on the entry list.
He's right behind Fagan.
Yes. He's doing a very good job. Fagan's just got past and didn't catch how he got past. And Puello now 7.5 behind. So they're coming to the last couple of minutes now off this race. Number 9's just coming out the pit lane. Who is that?
That is Chavez.
That's Chavez out of the pit again.
Again, yeah.
Having an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Down into 12th now. Too bad. Yeah, not went well for them. Clegg. Oh, it's very close. Yeah, right on the bumper. Oh, who's a lap car? Number 25. Very close. Just look behind here. Watch Fagan defending from the push. The push is so good on corner entry. That Lamborghini in a straight line is absolutely rapid. And it looks like Clegg now coming to lap White as well.
Yeah, here he comes.
This is probably the two fastest, maybe the two fastest cars in the straight line, the Audi and the Lamborghini. Very quick cars. The speed that Clegg carries through that first corner is incredible. Well, Fagan is driving the wheels of this thing. He's still pushing. 5 minutes to go.
And now he takes it. Now he takes it.
Yep, that's Clegg past. Round closer. Hopefully, maybe just lift off a little bit. Let him go. Just let him go. No point fighting him. You've got a car behind who has got a much. Yeah, there's still some battles out there. We've got another one a little bit further back, Chavez. Oh, that's so close. Yeah, the Lamborghini is quite a stiff car. It does not like those curbs, those sausage curbs.
I gotta say, White, he's pushing Fagan.
White's doing well. Remember, Fagan's been on these tyres for 55 minutes.
Yeah. White is really pushing Fagan. He's a really good driver.
Oh, Fagan gets defensive. And the push done well to stick with the Lamborghini in the straight. Oh, it's high on the sausage. Fagan bouncing on the sausage.
Less than 4 minutes in race in this battle.
Yeah, we're nearly 2 hours through now for this fantastic race. Race Club UK versus America's Racing League Inter-continental Challenge. 2 hours of Imola to raise money for Fertility Network UK. The link is in the live chat. If you're able to spare anything to help support the fantastic charity, please do so as we enjoy the final 3 minutes of the race. We've got yellow flags for car number 27. That's D Bender. Spun at Toza. We've got Hacker coming through to lap. Rejoins clearly. Car 21 sideways. And car 25, I think they've had an accident. 21 and 25, that's Chavez, Chavez and Puero. And Puero having a difficult time getting the car facing in the right direction again. Lost the position, that's Hacker went up now as well.
Yeah, but battle 16 and 17s. Mike Adenel and Richard Hall.
Yep, Yorkshire Mick holding off Hall. Hall was the first person to complete all their stops. Hall got a fantastic exit. A great run.
He's close now.
Hall pulls out. Yep, Hall pulls to the inside. And Mick takes the right, brakes a little bit while turning there. That's a bit cheeky. And Mick's lost the car.
Oh, he hit the sausage girl on the inside.
Oh, not on the sausage. Careful on the rejoin, Mick. Careful on the rejoin. Who's that coming through there?
It's number 16.
Number 16, Adenal lost the rear. Halls went through. Yep, Hall made the move. Number 28 car. So that's.
Smith is trying to not get lapped by that.
Trying to keep himself on the lead lap.
Yeah. Look how close he is.
Come on, Dan, you've got half a lap gap. You don't need to lap him. You've got half a lap and a full lap on the next Team America's car. You don't need to put a lap on him. Just sit behind him. Do him that favour. There's 50 seconds left. Although I think we're going to end up with one more lap as White all over the back of Fagan again. I think the gap's big enough. 2 hours racing and we've got these two 7/10 of a second apart as Clegg crosses the line. 25 seconds to go. That will be the final lap now. And Fagan just defends into the Tamburello chicane and gets the good exit. The Porsche very quick on exit actually. Is that a lapped car in front as well? I think we've got Dalton in front. No, we don't. Who is that in front? Who is it? Oh no, please stay off the racing line. Is that Mick?
Maybe.
Number 4. Yeah, it is. It's Mick. Yorkshire
Yeah,
Mick. I want to stick with these two as close as we can, but I do want to catch the leader coming over the line. I think Clegg's just going through Variante Alta now onto the chicane. He's got a bit of a gap still. But Fagan and White carrying the flag for ARL, doing everything they can. And this is here. This is here. This is it. This is the move here. We're going to see a dive. I can feel it. I can feel it. As we watch rearwards from Fagan's car. Fagan goes defensive. That's going to open the door for White. As Clegg comes across the start-finish line to win the Inter-continental Challenge. 69 laps. Most of them led by Clegg. Fagan, what's happened? Fagan crosses the line. Smith finishes in P4 guarantees. Fagan 5th, White 6th. Tom Hacker's going to come through in 7th, I think. Yep, Ampuero is off the track again on the second to last corner, but I think we'll make it home in P8. And he does so, makes it through in 8th. Dalton's now finished as well. Ampuero takes 8th. Next across the line is going to be Gordon, who's going to take 2nd place. Put the pressure on Clements. Got the position through an instant. Gordon takes 2nd, a minute behind Clegg, but still on the lead lap. Great performance from them. And Clements, unfortunate, could have been in P2, but takes the final podium position.
Good racing, very good.
Next across the line, Valeggio in the Porsche number 5 car takes 9th, and Alex flashing the lights there on celebration, and then will take 10th. As we've got another couple of cars just across the line. That's them all there now. All drivers now finished. So that is Dan Clegg takes the win. Ben Gordon in 2nd and Chris Clements in 3rd. That's the 1, 2, 3, all podiums going to Team Europe. Smith takes 4th. Fagan with a fantastic recovery drive into 5th. White flying the flag for ARL. Team America's the top position for Team America's P6. Great drive from them. Hacker in 7th. Ampuero in 8th. Vallejo in 9th, Alex 10th. Dalton 11th, Chavez 12th. Schrotti finishes in 13th, Cedric in 14th. Wilder 15th, Hall 16th, finished ahead of Adenil. Clark in 18th, Tucker 19th, Lopez 20th, Bender 21st, Pakiri 22nd, Frankhouse after a nightmare start recovers to 23rd, Chavez 24th, Bellamancia does a great end to the race there, finishes 25th after being last for quite a lot of the race. Dookie 26th, Como 27th, Craig 28th, and add definitive value is 29th, whoever that is. Look at the formation lap there. Clegg, Gordon and Clements, 1, 2 and 3, rubbing it in as they cross the line again. I think that's Smith just in the back there, tucked in 4th.
Good job. Well done.
Yep, great driving from all around, and we see there Fagan held off White by under 0.2 of a second as the donuts begin.
Good job from everyone.
Yeah, great for everyone around, everyone who took part tonight done a great job.
Yeah.
It's a hard challenge going 2 hours straight. They all done very well, and as the donuts now begin, the rubber burns.
Yeah.
It's no longer needed. And I think they've earned the right to do some donuts. So if you've enjoyed what we've done tonight, please remember, if you've not done so and you can afford to do so, we know things are tight just now, please do consider donating what you can to our Just Giving page. The link has been posted in the chat. I do want to give a special thanks to Race Club UK and America's Racing League for organising this race. There's been really very good racing, I'm sure you agree. Over 2 hours, and some drivers still battering out within a couple of seconds towards the end. My maths are not good enough to calculate this, but based on the positions, I do think Team Europe has edged this one, but we'll wait for the official results to be calculated, because this one's well beyond my mental capacity to calculate.
Yeah. Feel free to join one of them to race sim racing. It's fun.
Yeah, that's a very good point actually. These two leagues, Race Club UK and America's Racing League, they do host regular races if you are interested in this type of thing. A lot of the drivers do have their own equipment, steering wheels, etc. But it is possible to race and be fast on a controller. I have seen it happen.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to. You can find Race Club UK on Facebook, sponsored by Lovely Stickers. Need to get that in. You can find them on Facebook if you want to join, and I think America's Racing League is on Discord, if I'm not very much mistaken, if you're that way orientated.
Yeah.
Race Club UK race on Tuesdays, and America's Racing League have championships on, I think, Tuesdays, Fridays and Sundays. If you're on that side of the pond, those times might suit you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, Jorgen. It's been great having you with me, because give me someone to speak to.
Yeah, thank you.
It gets very hard after the first hour.
Yeah.
It gets hard to keep going. So thank you for joining. It's been good to speak to you.
Yeah,
You're very welcome. Hopefully, I might be able to speak to you guys and do this for you on Tuesdays. It's pretty tight just now, schedule-wise, but hoping to come back as soon as I possibly can. And if you enjoyed this, again, please do consider joining. I'm going to wrap it up here because I've run out of things to say. Unless you've got anything you wish to add.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's a great course they're doing it for. This league, this race is for a great course.
Yeah, it's a great cause we're doing this for. It's been really good to have that behind it as well. I think we are on quite a bit of money raised, £287 raised so far for Fertility Network UK. They are a small charity. They look to help about 3.5 million people who are affected by the devastation and pain that fertility issues can wreak on families. So, like we said, anything that you can afford to donate towards this charity, we will put the details up in the chat. It will be in the description in the stream as well. So, like we said, anything that possible you can afford, please donate. If you can't afford anything, share the link, do what you can, share the link to the stream, give somebody a little bit of entertainment to watch if you're into this kind of thing, and also the ability to donate for it as well. Even just a couple of pounds, like a couple of pounds, euro, whatever you need, whatever you can afford, please do so. So that's it from me, and that's it from Jorgen. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to end the stream now. Like we said, every Tuesday nights, Race Club UK, get involved if you're interested. Until then, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.